In Dragon Ball Kakumei, Goku and Beerus face each other in a rematch. Their power levels are so immense that the shockwaves from their battle ripple through neighboring universes, causing violent tremors and earthquakes. The sheer scale of their clash alarms the Supreme Kai, prompting him to reach out to Whis for guidance. This is the long-awaited rematch fans have been dying to see. Goku and Beerus are so insanely strong that their blows alone can obliterate entire planets. Their battleground is the galaxy itself. At one point, it looks like Beerus bends space itself to catch Goku's Kai blasts and hurl them right back at him. Goku manages to counter, slipping behind Beerus and unleashing a massive Kamehameha wave that ends up destroying 3 planets in its path. This level of destruction feels completely out of character for Goku, who usually avoids collateral damage at all costs. Beerus responds swiftly, grabbing hold of Goku and almost gaining the upper hand, until Goku narrowly escapes. He keeps trying to outrun Beerus, but the speed of a god of destruction is nearly impossible to match. Beerus then launches Goku across space, sending him crashing into a distant planet named Taco Taco. At first, it seems like Goku is down for the count. Beerus doesn't hesitate. He begins charging a massive energy blast, ready to wipe out the entire planet along with Goku. But just in time, Goku senses the danger and regains consciousness. Wasting no time, Goku warns a nearby alien to flee and dashes off to another planet, trying to divert the blast. He's visibly disappointed in Beerus for putting innocent lives at risk, just for a battle. As he's flying away, Goku suddenly notices something. An alien child had been holding onto his leg the entire time. There's no time to return the child. Beerus's destructive energy blast is already incoming. Meanwhile, Whis begins to look uneasy, and his concern deepens when the Oracle Fish shares a troubling new prophecy. Without hesitation, Goku takes the full impact of the blast, shielding the alien child with his own body. Goku saving an alien child by taking a full-power blast from Beerus. The impact is so great that Goku ends up passing out. However, Beerus acknowledges Goku's bravery and strength, offering his praise. He admits that even among the gods, it's rare for him to be pushed to such an extent. Goku lies on the brink of death, his life flashing before his eyes. But instead of dying, Goku once again shatters his limits and awakens Ultra Instinct. Goku begins moving so fast that even Beerus doesn't notice him passing by, though he still manages to keep up with his speed. Then comes one of the most jaw-dropping moments. Goku literally grabs a planet and, using his energy, relocates it across space to keep it away from the battlefield. Judging by Beerus's stunned reaction, this is something never seen before among the gods, hinting that Goku may have achieved a feat no other deity has. Suddenly, something grabs Goku by the shoulder. It's Beerus, who then reveals a brand new transformation never seen before. He praises Goku for pushing him to these limits. Beerus then demonstrates the sheer power of this form. He moves so fast that Goku, even in Ultra Instinct, can't catch a glimpse of him. Goku, not backing down, unleashes his iconic Kamehameha wave. The visuals here are breathtaking. The art style brings a powerful, emotional impact to the moment. Whis explains that Beerus's new form is the result of fusing Ultra Instinct with the power of destruction. Unfortunately, their intense showdown is abruptly cut short. The overwhelming strain of Ultra Instinct takes its toll on Goku's mortal body, causing him to collapse before the decisive moment arrives. Beerus gets irritated. He was finally ready to fight seriously, but that excitement fades quickly when he realizes their clash obliterated his planet. Without wasting time, Beerus and Whis head to the sacred world of the Kais to ask the Supreme Kai for help restoring it. The Supreme Kai is stunned to see that all that's left of Beerus's planet is a small patch of land and a lone tree. Beerus, however, blames the Kai, questioning whether he's even doing his job. Pretty ironic, since Beerus is the one who caused the destruction. Shin, trying to keep things calm, reassures him that fixing the planet will be a breeze. Once the battle wraps up, everyone returns to Beerus's restored world. Whis brings Goku back to full strength with his healing powers, but Goku makes an odd request. He asks Whis not to heal the scar on his back until he's strong enough to leave a similar mark on Beerus himself. Unsurprisingly, Beerus isn't amused. Still, in a short time, the two have developed a friendly bond. Goku is amazed by how effective Whis' healing is, even saying it's better than Senzu Bean's. Whis then asks what Goku plans to do next. Goku starts reflecting on his strength. He once believed that Ultra Instinct was the peak of power, but even with it, he couldn't defeat Jiren or Beerus. He decides it's time to return home to his wife and kids, especially since they weren't even sure he survived the fight. After leaving Beerus's planet with Whis, Goku quickly senses that something is off. Whis seems troubled. When Goku asks him about it, Whis reveals he's been sensing a strange disturbance, an ominous and powerful presence unlike anything before. Curious and concerned, Goku offers to investigate it himself. At first, Whis firmly rejects the idea, even telling Goku to let go of him. Just look at Whis's expression. He's clearly annoyed. But the tension eventually fades. Whis reminds Goku that matters like this aren't his responsibility. Still, knowing Goku's nature and how crucial he's been in saving their universe countless times, Whis reluctantly agrees to let him go. Thanks to Goku's persistence, Whis gives him the green light to check out the disturbance on his behalf. After all, Whis has just been summoned by the Grand Priest and doesn't have time to investigate personally. When they arrive at the location, what they discover defies explanation. A massive, swirling anomaly that resembles a black hole. It appears to be some sort of gateway. Meanwhile, we cut to the Grand Priest, who has called all of the angels to gather at his grand palace. And just look at that place. He's living in pure luxury. Once everyone is assembled, he drops a bombshell. He admits that he's kept a huge secret, not just from the angels, but from the Omni Kings themselves. He warns them, if news of this secret meeting reaches the Omni Kings, there will be serious consequences for everyone present. The Grand Priest then reveals something truly shocking. When Android 17, real name Lapis, wished for the restoration of all erased universes, he unknowingly brought back more than just those. The wish also revived the universes that had been exiled into the infinite void eons ago, forgotten realms, lost to time. It was always believed that there were 18 universes, as Whis once stated in Dragon Ball Super. But the Grand Priest corrects this, revealing the existence of a hidden 19th universe. The angels are stunned by the revelation and begin questioning why the Grand Priest kept this truth hidden for so long. Then suddenly, a mysterious woman appears, her presence raising even more questions aiming the angels.
The chapter begins with him summoning all the angels to his grand palace. Just take a look. He's living that extravagant lifestyle. He shares that he's kept a hidden truth from everyone, even from the Omni Kings. He warns that if the Omni Kings hear of this gathering, strict sanctions will be imposed on everyone present. He explains how Android 17, whose real name is Lapis, wished for all erased universes to be restored, which also brought back universes that had been banished to the infinite void for eternity, ages ago. It was previously known there were supposed to be 18 universes, as mentioned in Dragon Ball Super, but the Grand Priest discloses that there was a 19th universe called Universe Zero. The angel attendants are stunned by this revelation and start questioning the Grand Priest on why he hid it all this time. When a female angel appeared, she accused the Grand Priest of being a traitor and instigating mass genocide across the universes. The Grand Priest, reaching his limit, decided to respond. He revealed that this female angel is actually the mother of all angels, and that her accusations aren't entirely false. She was once the angelic attendant of the mysterious 19th universe, known as Universe Zero. According to the Grand Priest, Universe Zero had unleashed an immense power that endangered the multiverse's balance, leaving him no choice but to handle it alone. Enraged by his explanation, the female angel accused him of trapping them in an endless void using space-time techniques, making them endure unimaginable suffering for tens of billions of years without the mercy of death. In answer to her fury, the Grand Priest disclosed a shocking truth that he was ultimately responsible for the destruction of the multiverse. They are unexpectedly joined by mysterious beings who, according to Whis, were the gods and angels from the destroyed universes. The design of these deities is remarkable, with each god seemingly holding a personal grudge against the current system. Among them was Frieza, now acting as the god of destruction for Universe 18. Frieza had apparently sought out Zuno, the all-knowing entity, and obtained information about the revival of the other universes. Armed with this knowledge, Frieza infiltrated one of the universes, eliminated its god of destruction, and took over their role to gain the associated power and privileges. Frieza and Whis exchange heated words, but Whiz's attempts to make Frieza understand the gravity of the situation fall on deaf ears. He inquires about Goku's whereabouts, eager to settle an old score. Whis explains that Goku has ventured into Universe Zero on an investigation, and he lost contact with him suddenly. One of the revived gods of destruction reveals that Goku was captured and is being held at their headquarters. The Grand Priest then questions why they would imprison Goku, a mere mortal whose strength pales in comparison to the angels. We then see Goku bound in chains, bruised and battered, apologizing to Whis for failing his mission. The Grand Priest demands to know their terms for releasing Goku. The enemy responds with a radical demand: the dissolution of the divine hierarchy and the end of neutrality among deities. Remaining calm and unyielding, the Grand Priest asserts his authority with an icy demeanor, essentially challenging them with, "What do you plan to do about it?" At that moment, Mother of all Angels intervenes, taking a stand and declaring war on all deities. The Grand Priest took matters into his own hands, freezing them in space and time. Although he succeeded, he immediately collapsed, as this potent technique appears to take a toll on his life force, making it a double-edged sword. His plan is to transport these universes and their deities to Universe Zero, where they'll be sealed for a period of time. Using this technique on such a massive scale poses a serious risk to his health, but he prioritizes the mission over his own well-being. To speed up the process, he calls on all the Supreme Kais from existing universes, relying on their teleportation abilities to quickly send the resurrected gods to Universe Zero. There's a sense that the Grand Priest might be hiding a part of his plan. The chapter opens with Universe 7 enjoying a picnic, showing a saddened Chi-Chi since Goku has not returned from Beerus's planet in years. Gohan appears exceptionally muscular, highlighting the impressive character design of Dragon Ball Kakumei. Suddenly, a giant black sphere appears in each universe. It's a transmission from the Grand Priest. He explains the threat posed by a female angel and a resurrected universe rebelling against the current system. He commands everyone capable of fighting to prepare for this impending conflict. Fortunately, the Grand Priest managed to buy them some time by freezing the enemy in space-time for 2 years. Mortals across the universes, like Jiren and Caulifla, are stunned by the announcement, while Universe 7's residents remain unaware of the situation. Follow for more. Universe 7 becomes even more concerned about Goku's absence. With Goku out of the picture, Vegeta steps up as the leader and starts strategizing for the next 2 years. He aims to find Broly and add him to their ranks, recognizing Broly's incredible potential as a valuable ally. Vegeta asks Bulma to head to planet Vampa to recruit Broly and his companions. Since Trunks hasn't been as involved lately, Vegeta plans to send him, along with Goten, to train with Whis on Beerus's planet. Bulma then directs Jaco to take her to Vampa, with her request sounding more like an order. Afterward, Vegeta steps out, hinting that his parenting skills could use some work. He asks Gohan about his plans for the next 2 years, suggesting he train with Whis. However, Gohan turns down the offer respectfully and says he has other plans for 2 years. He reveals that he already has a strategy for how he'll spend the next 2 years preparing himself. Vegeta also suggests inviting the Earthlings, Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien. This is uncharacteristic for Vegeta, as he's always looked down on them and never truly saw them as allies. It highlights just how serious the upcoming conflict is, with them needing every bit of support they can muster. Following their conversation, Gohan flies to Krillin's house and asks him to gather all the Z fighters. To his surprise, they're already there, waiting for him. Just then, Gohan receives a call from Vegeta. Vegeta explains that Whis informed him that Goku was in Universe Zero when the Grand Priest freed the enemy and is now being held captive by the enemy. The news leaves everyone in shock. The Z fighters are left speechless, wondering how they can possibly face such a massive threat without their leader. Gohan steps up, attempting to rally everyone, reminding them that, even in his father's absence, they each have a vital role to play in their survival. However, Krillin doesn't share the same confidence and begins to question his own abilities, fearing he would be useless in the face of such danger. Master Roshi agrees with Krillin, admitting that, despite training for 350 years, he still isn't near Goku's level. Krillin feels like he has no place in the upcoming battle and believes he should be at home with his family. With a determined expression, Gohan delivers a heartfelt speech, recalling how Goku has always protected them and sacrificed himself for the sake of others, urging them to do the same. Right now, Goku and countless others are counting on their help. Tien and Yamcha decide to join the fight and prepare for the battle ahead. Krillin's wife then pulls him aside and asks what he truly wants to do in this moment, assuring him that she'll support his choice no matter what. Krillin really found himself a solid partner. Everyone gathers to begin their journey and bid farewell to their loved ones on Earth. It seems Vegeta wanted a quiet moment with his daughter before departing. "Don't worry, Princess. Daddy will be back." Vegeta first thanks Bulma's father for looking after his daughter while they're away, and then shares a heartfelt moment with Trunks while saying goodbye to his sister. And look at that. Krillin chooses to join the fight as well. Gohan instructs Whis to head to Universe 9. Why would Gohan want to go to Universe 9, known as the universe with the weakest mortality rate in the multiverse? He had arranged for the Earthlings to train with the Trio of Dangers. According to Gohan, even if the trio seemed weak compared to Goku and Vegeta, they're still stronger than Cell and Majin Buu. Yamcha, however, isn't impressed by them. Despite having been out of action for ages, Yamcha thinks he could take them on. When they arrive in Universe 9, they reach the planet where the Trio of Dangers lives, but the planet appears to be shrouded in a thick layer of clouds, rumored to be about 3,000 kilometers deep. It basically resembles the rough part of the universe. It's time for the Earthlings to part ways. Gohan then reveals that he won't be joining them because he has other plans in mind. Bulma reaches out to Jaco for a ride to planet Vampa, as everyone else is tied up with other responsibilities. Upon arriving on Vampa, she is greeted by Chilai, Broly, and Lemo. Bulma asks if they caught the transmission about the upcoming war. They reveal they were asleep at the time and thought it was just a strange dream. Bulma clarifies that it wasn't a dream. The threat is real, and she's come to bring Broly to the front lines. This revelation catches them off guard, despite the dream they had. Just then, Whis contacts Bulma with an update about Goku, leaving her momentarily speechless. The rest of the Z fighters continue their journey to different destinations. The next to leave is Gohan, though in the manga it remains unclear exactly where he's headed. It's a mystery yet to be revealed, and Goten and Trunks are left wondering why he would choose such an unexpected place. Following Gohan's departure, Vegeta is shown arriving on planet Sadala, in Universe 6. He seems to have landed in a rougher area, where he is met by a group of unruly Saiyans who show little respect for their prince. Vegeta promptly knocks one out for his disrespect, which leads the other Saiyans to challenge him. With a grin, Vegeta eagerly accepts the challenge but finds it unsatisfying, as these Saiyans, some with one eye or one arm, have power levels only comparable to Raditz. Goten and Trunks continued their journey with Whis to Beerus's planet. When they arrive, they're amazed by the planet's unusual shape. However, Beerus is far from thrilled. He's clearly annoyed that Whis keeps bringing visitors without asking. Beerus goes on a rant, saying his planet isn't a vacation spot for Saiyan, especially not for Saiyan kids. Goten is infuriated by Beerus's attitude and snaps, reminding him that Goku might already be dead. Beerus remains indifferent, responding that Goku's fate is the least of his concerns at the moment. Given Goku and Beerus's history, one might expect him to be a bit more sympathetic toward Goku's son. However, Beerus is keenly aware of the gravity of the Universal War, and for now, Goku simply isn't a priority. He tells Whis that Saiyan children are no longer welcome on his planet and should train elsewhere. On the other hand, after Vegeta clashes with the Ghetto Saiyans, he quickly overpowers them. Suddenly, he hears a voice from afar. It's Caulifla, who's not happy to see him, as the Saiyans he defeated were her friends. Meanwhile, Bulma manages to recruit Broly, and together, they head to planet Sadala. Moving on to the Universe 11, after the impending war threat, Lord Belmod feels it's finally time to pass the mantle of God of Destruction to Toppo. They exchange final farewells before the ritual, and Toppo is prepared to accept this duty. As the God of Destruction ritual begins, two statues and a mystical inscription appear on the ground before them. The ritual commences, seemingly draining the life force and power of destruction from the current destroyer and transferring it to the successor. Suddenly, in an instant, someone or something arrives nearby during the ceremony. Dispo decides to investigate, suspecting it might be someone with a grudge against the Pride Troopers or a hired assassin sent to eliminate them. Vegeta has a tense encounter with Kale and Caulifla. Caulifla is livid, remembering how Vegeta almost defeated her gang in the past, and Kaba arrives, curious why his mentor has come to Universe 6. Vegeta, however, brushes off Caulifla's anger and commands them to arrange an audience with their king to discuss the impending war. This only fuels Caulifla's fury, and she loses her temper, though Kaba has to hold her back. Realizing it's not the right moment for a fight, Vegeta finds himself somewhat shocked by her wild nature, even likening her to a feral creature. The irony is hard to miss. Vegeta himself was once a ruthless Saiyan, yet Earth's influence has changed him so much that he now views the untamed Saiyans of Universe 6 with a hint of contempt. They set off toward the royal palace, hoping to gain an audience with the king of all Saiyans. When they arrive, Vegeta is surprised not to see the palace in sight. Kaba points downward, revealing an astonishing view before them. King Sadala's palace lies underground, featuring intricate architecture and serving as a secure haven from enemy attacks. Vegeta's expression says it all. He feels an immense sense of pride. As he approaches the palace, he experiences a deep connection, rekindling memories of his royal Saiyan heritage. While being transported to the king's quarters, Caulifla regains consciousness and is less than thrilled that Vegeta's face is the first thing she sees. They bicker inside the transport vehicle, drawing sideways glances from the royal guards. Soon they arrive at King Sadala's quarters, where the king's attendants are briefing him on an unusual occurrence. A visitor claiming to be a Saiyan prince from another universe who wishes to meet with his majesty. The king consents to the meeting and makes his way toward Vegeta, radiating an intense aura as he approaches the prince. Their eyes lock, and the stern look the king gives Vegeta sends a ripple of unease throughout the palace, with Vegeta feeling an unexpected bond to King Sadala, suggesting they might be distant kin. King Sadala shows interest in Vegeta's life, his journey, and accomplishments. Vegeta, however, curtly dismisses the question, viewing it as a waste of time given the urgency of his mission. As Vegeta is about to inform the king of the looming war threat, King Sadala interrupts, stating that listening to another's life story is never trivial. His expression reveals displeasure at Vegeta's disregard for his question. Recognizing his error, Vegeta backtracks and inquires about the king's hidden palace and their shared heritage. King Sadala then dives into the rich history and lineage of the Saiyan people. In the beginning, he served merely as an army general, upholding the king's ideals. Yet, through steadfast loyalty to the current ruler, he climbed the ranks and became the king's most trusted advisor. Over time, his dedication to the king grew even deeper, driving him to track down a demon known as Gurkhan the Bloody, who was the king's sworn enemy. Relentlessly, he pursued the demon day and night, ultimately catching him and driving a fist through his stomach. But even piercing the demon didn't ease the intense hatred he felt. As he withdrew his hand, the shape of the wound left a lasting impression in his mind, inspiring the design of the royal palace. In the end, the king despised war, weary of seeing his comrades fall with no clear purpose, and suspects that Vegeta's visit was to enlist the Sadala army to fight at their side, a proposal he plans to decline unless. The king becomes intrigued by Vegeta's boldness and wants to hear more of his perspective. Vegeta warns him of the severe threat they're facing, questioning the king's course of action if he decides not to participate in the war. What would he do instead? Surrender? Raise a white flag when the enemy arrives? Allow their invaders to conquer the planet and slaughter his people without resistance? Vegeta vows to the king that he will make every soldier in the Saiyan army a formidable warrior, recognizing the hidden potential across the universe. The thought of joining a galaxy-wide war and risking his people's lives enrages the king, unleashing his fury throughout the room. This outburst leaves Kaba frozen in place and even startles Vegeta. The king's rage is so intense that it causes the entire underground palace to tremble, creating a quake. Bulma arrives on planet Sadala with Broly and the others. They're astonished by the advanced technology on the Saiyan planet, technology which particularly surprises Bulma, as she always thought Saiyans were solely focused on combat. They begin searching for Vegeta, but it's tricky since many Saiyans look like him, and Jocko's device requires more time to locate his exact position. Meanwhile, they decide to grab a meal at a local restaurant that serves a Saiyan-style kebab. While they're eating, Jocko's device manages to find Vegeta, but before they can meet him, Vegeta accidentally destroys the device, forgetting he was supposed to meet up with Bulma. Frustrated, Bulma yells at Jacko, who then sets off to find Vegeta on his own. Finally, he tracks down Vegeta and vents his frustration after Vegeta destroys his prized machine. Vegeta, unfazed, tells him to leave. Jacko then reminds him that he traveled for 2 days straight to bring Bulma and reach planet Sadala. And it seems like Vegeta had completely forgotten about them. Before the Z fighters left with Whis to train, the scene shifts to Gohan's house, where Piccolo arrives to say his farewells, leaving Gohan with a few encouraging words for his upcoming journey, knowing exactly what motivates him to grow stronger. Watching Gohan leave for battle pulls at Piccolo's heartstrings, as his bond with Gohan is even deeper than with Goku. Before heading off, Piccolo asks Videl to allow him to take Pan along for training. Videl, however, isn't thrilled with Piccolo's suggestion. In this moment, she certainly mirrors Chi-Chi's protective nature. Piccolo, without fully grasping a mother's mindset, keeps insisting on training Pan, even using Gohan as an example. At last, Videl's inner Chi-Chi comes out, and she firmly tells Piccolo to leave. Before he goes, Gohan wants to spend some time with his daughter and say his goodbyes since he'll be away for the next 2 years. He tells Pan not to let anyone else push their dreams onto her and to pursue what she truly wants in life. Gohan speaks from experience, as he was made to study non-stop from a young age, while also training for the Saiyan invasion, which helped him unlock his hidden powers. He gives Pan a kiss on the cheek and leaves. Do you think Gohan will ever reunite with his family after the war? Things do not go as he planned. Observing the current troops, Vegeta feels disappointed by how weak the soldiers are, not even knowing how to transform. Despite this, seeing his race alive and thriving brings Vegeta a rare sense of joy, especially after the tragic fate his own people suffered at the hands of the monkey hater. He begins to enjoy his new position at the top of command, a rightful role for the Prince of all Saiyans. However, Caulifla is disregarding Vegeta's orders and acting out. Unwilling to accept this kind of disrespect, Vegeta grabs Caulifla by her hair and demands that she fall in line. Everyone is stunned by this event, watching Vegeta transform, and one of the admirals reprimands him, instructing him to refrain from using the Super Saiyan transformation. Enraged, Vegeta demands to know who dares to command him. The soldiers grow uneasy, wondering if a fight is about to break out. The admirals question Vegeta's strength and his legitimacy as a leader in this war, leaving Vegeta taken aback by their attitude. How dare they treat their prince with such disrespect? The admirals challenge Vegeta to prove his power, taking fighting stances. Kaba attempts to calm the situation, but Vegeta has had enough of the Universe 6 Saiyans' insolence and becomes furious. In a surge of rage, he transforms into his ultimate form and accepts their challenge. The sheer intensity of his transformation leaves the Saiyan soldiers awestruck and paralyzed by his overwhelming aura. Calling them cowards, Vegeta warns the Saiyans that they're free to flee, but he won't be there to protect them when the enemy strikes. The clash begins as one of the admirals charges at Vegeta, but in his Super Saiyan Blue state, Vegeta effortlessly tracks their movements, dodging with ease. The admirals stand no chance against Vegeta's power, as he dispatches each of them with a single decisive blow. Witnessing his overwhelming strength, the remaining soldiers stare at Vegeta in terror, unable to fathom how one Saiyan could possess such power. Just then, one of the admirals emerges from the rubble, now transformed into a Super Saiyan, a power they had deliberately held back until now. One by one, they all begin to transform. Vegeta sneers, calling it pathetic, as he readies himself for battle. But a voice from behind interrupts them. It's the king, arriving after hearing the commotion. Furious, Vegeta declares his intention to settle the matter once and for all. The king, however, cuts him off, stating firmly, "If you use this form on Sadala, you will be exiled." Such a corrupt transformation has no place here. In this chapter, Hit is shown roaming on a mysterious planet called Planet Pillar, populated by giant insect-like creatures. It's likely that Hit is on another assassination mission, as that's his profession. Seemingly unnoticed, Frost has been shadowing Hit for days, driven by his own hidden agenda. Frost likely hopes to observe Hit's assassination methods firsthand, to adapt them for his own purposes. However, as a seasoned assassin with thousands of successful missions, Hit has been aware of Frost's presence all along. Accustomed to dealing with adversaries, Hit confronts Frost, demanding to know who hired him. Left without a choice, Frost confesses that he's only acting on behalf of himself, and he is planning to get a revenge on someone. Hit resumes his search for the next target on his assassination mission. His target appears to be a hybrid alien, a mix between a yard rat and a fish-like species. The target swims away at full speed, desperately trying to evade Hit. However, as a seasoned assassin, tracking him down proves effortless for Hit. Just as Hit prepares to deliver the final blow, Frost unexpectedly intervenes, saving Hit from a surprise attack from his blind spot. Hit, visibly angered, clearly dislikes Frost meddling in his business. The two continue their journey to a planet known as Planet Dew. This world seems to serve as the home planet of Frieza's race, as it is populated by creatures bearing a striking resemblance to Frost and Frieza. Hit is about to conclude and execute his signature move. Another figure suddenly swoops in and claims the kill before he can. It was Frost. Hit had reached his limit with him. The aura radiating from Hit's body made his frustration clear. Frost, oblivious to the seriousness of his actions, arrogantly claims to be stronger than Hit, despite that being far from the truth. Hit sternly commands Frost to stay out of his way for eternity. Frost agrees, but only on the condition that Hit can defeat him in a fight. Do you think Frost stands any chance against Hit? After Goten disrespects Beerus's authority, Beerus punishes him and orders Wiz to train the two elsewhere, banning them from his planet. Wiz then takes the boys to a place called Planet Creep. Before starting the training, Wiz reviews their past battles and evaluates their skills, particularly their abilities when they're fused as Gotenks. After observing, Wiz doesn't seem very impressed by what he sees. However, Goten and Trunks misinterpret his reaction and assume he's amazed by their power, leading them to start the fusion dance. Wiz quickly corrects them and actually forbids them from fusing during their time with him. After the analysis of their previous battles, Wiz explains that the first part of their training will focus on maximizing Gotenks' potential, but to achieve this, they must connect with their true selves and learn to channel all of their power into a single strike. To do so, Goten and Trunks will need to confront their inner weaknesses and overcome them. For their first exercise, Wiz introduces a punching machine with a central ball that only shatters when they both deliver a synchronized attack with equal strength, causing the ball to explode and completing that part of their training. Wiz has faith in their potential, seeing traces of Vegeta and Goku in them, and believes they may even surpass their fathers someday.